no excuses. We were prepared. Didn't look like we were prepared. Having, penalties after to start drives. I mean, just very inexplicable things. Penalty, delay game on that, delay game on the punt. Um, the kicks blocked. I mean, that's as worse as we've done in special teams in a long time. But we got our
Questions?
Coach, I thought the offense had its moments, but the finishing was the problem. They would, make a drive, get into Marshall territory, and then sputter. And Ty taking sacks didn't help.
Yeah, we got to finish. We got to finish drives. The team like that, they're so potent on offense that we have to be able to finish those drives, to stay close, to kind of stay within, we can play under our terms. But when you don't finish those drives, that's hard. It's, you're right. I mean, you got to finish those drives. Felt like we moved the ball, but it doesn't matter moving the ball. It's all we rushed for over 300 yards, but it doesn't matter if you're not finishing and scoring. We just killed ourselves. We killed ourselves in the red zone. And against a team like that, that's so potent on offense, that can't happen.
Hey, Ken, that's what I wanted to ask about was their offense. I think it was 11 big plays of 15 or more. Just what stood out about them on that side of the ball, and what was kind of happening on that back end that kind of let them hit, some of those big ones?
Well, quarterback's really good. They're really potent last year and got some good wideouts. If you kind of sit back, you don't bring pressure. He's got all day. Then you bring pressure. Then, then you got some matchup stuff. Quarterback, really good player. But like I said, I feel like we've played offenses like that before that are good, but we could score and we would score. So you can kind of tick for tack, and then you kind of stay in your realm, but not scoring in the red zone just killed us. That just killed us. We had, like I said, we had a ton of opportunities. We didn't score, and so it allowed them to be more free. Again, when you play guys like that, you got to be able to score, kind of put the bind on them a little bit, put a little pressure on them, but we never did. We had some turnovers there. Our defense did a great job, and we couldn't capitalize. And had that fourth down play early in the game. Coop may score, normally catches that. We had our opportunities, just didn't get it done.
Hey, Ken, can you speak to some of the brighter moments today? Jaden Umbarger's huge big run, Kevin Brennan's first recovered fumble, Nick Straw's first forced fumble, things like that.
Yeah, just excited to see our guys kept fighting. There's a middle part of the game, and again, I feel like if we could have just got something going on offense, because our defense was playing really, really hard in the middle parts. Just proud of the way they kept battling. Like I said, Jaden is a kid that hasn't played much, local kid. It's a big run for us. Again, wish we could have capitalized on that. Big turnovers by KB, by Kevin. Our guys will look at this. It's a tough pill to swallow. But there's some guys that did some good things.
Coach, going off that, Kevin Brennan fumble and an interception today. What do you see out of him?
Kevin's Kevin. He has been one of our leaders for the last 3 years. He's worked hard. He's comes to work every day the same, and we're gonna need him. We're gonna need him as we press forward. We're gonna need him.
Coach, what would be your assessment of how Ty played before he went out with the injury, and do you know anything about his injury?
Yeah, I have to go back down there and check with the trainers, kind of see how that is, and we'll see how that goes. Did some good things, a little sporadic, his first start, but did some good things, but also missed some things. But it was okay. It was okay. Did some good things. Hopefully the kid's healthy, but did some good things and some stuff he could have did better.
And what about Xavier? He had a couple nice runs and led a couple nice drives.
Yeah, Xavier had, I thought he ran the option really good, did some good things. Got to be more stout in short yardage stuff, and you got to make more plays in the passing game, but I thought Xavier did some good things.
So the play at the end of the first half, you're at the 5-yard line, 13 seconds left, you called the naked boot, if it works, he waltzes in for a touchdown, and you're got momentum going into the halftime. And kind of typical of today, nothing seemed to work when you really needed it, and he got swarmed under, and then you weren't able to get lined up to clock it.
Yeah, we have a guy coming across. I guess he didn't have a chance to see him. You know what I mean? So he had an opportunity, maybe to catch him, but I guess he didn't see him. But we have to throw the ball in that situation, throw it out of bounds. But you can't run the ball in that situation. So I did a bad job of preparing him for that. I mean, it's either you can make it, if not, throw it out of the end zone so you can line up and play again. But if you run it, you have to score. And so that, again, that's unfortunately something that we learned the hard way, and I have to do a better job preparing him for that situation.
Coach, what did you see on the two blocked kicks? Was it a matter of execution? What did you see there?
Well, both of them, we had, the first one was a high snap.
Yeah.
So the first one was a high snap. And the second one, we had some protection issues, but again, we got to get our snapping deals shored away. We've been stout at that deal for many, many years. The guys are in the league, but I feel like we got to get better at that, and he will. Cole's a great kid; he'll work hard at it. But we had some protection issues too in the punt block. The field goal was high snap, so by the time he got it down, just.
Coach, we're accustomed to seeing Coach New bring all sorts of exotic blitzes, but early on in the game, I think he was dropping 8, rushing just 3, but he was dropping more coverage, into coverage more. Was that kind of the game plan going in? Because I think he did adjust and start bringing more pressure later.
Yeah, we just want to see, just kind of weather the storm a little bit, see what they're doing, and, you obviously don't want to give up those kind of things, but yeah, that was the idea, to try to, play some coverage a little bit to start the game. And the kid's patient. Did a really good job of being patient. Had time to throw the football, and he found his receivers.
Can you talk about bouncing back? You don't have time to lick your wounds. You've got Air Force coming in here next Saturday.
That's all we talked about in the locker room. I mean, in our mind, this game's over with. We ain't talking about. We ain't watching the film. We got to get ready for Air Force. The biggest game of the year. Obviously to the last one at the end of the year. So. We can't feel sorry for ourselves. We got to get healthy. We got to lick our wounds and just come back and get ready to go.
Coach, just having fans back in the stands, the march on, the brigade back there, what was that like?
It was awesome. I mean, there are no complaints about this. The fans. That was great to have the brigade back. Great to have the fans. The atmosphere of the game felt like Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium, normal, but obviously. We haven't gotten beaten like that with with fans there in a while. That was hard to take, but like I said, we didn't coach well enough. We didn't play well enough, but it was great to have fans there. That was awesome. It was great to see.
Both of you just addressed the, defensively, they got after you a little bit, especially early on.
Yeah, yeah, you guys saw it. We're down 21-zip pretty quick. We had some bright spots here and there, but overall, not a good day for the defense.
Yeah, we just didn't play well.
In terms of early on, it seemed like he had a lot of time to throw. You guys are dropping into coverage. Can you just talk about what happened there in the first few series when he was kind of sitting back and had time to survey the field?
Yeah, just a slow start for us. I think we were expecting tempo, and we just weren't getting lined up.
What's your thoughts on the quality of the receivers? The two, number 9 and I think 7 in particular, had big days.
Yeah, they're good athletes, for sure.
Is this one particularly frustrating? I know you guys kind of waited for a long time to kind of get back out here, be in this environment and all this kind of thing, and when things don't go right, it seems like you two are particularly frustrated today.
Yes.
Yeah, we worked a lot for this, so it's always disappointing when you lose.
Well, can you talk about just flushing this one and moving on to the next big game, which is so important to your season?
Yeah, so our focus is Air Force. Gotta beat them, 1-0.
Yeah, that's it. There's nothing else we can do about this game.
Well, Coop, it seemed like a day of missed opportunities for the offense. starting with the first time you went for it on fourth down and Ty threw it over the middle to you and it was a drop, and it was just seemed like little things like that added up. Would that be accurate to say?
I mean, yes, sir. You know, on offense, you got to make plays. And Navy got to make plays, so you just got to make plays for the most part. If you don't, obviously, this is the result. That's something we all know. You know, we're on the F4, so.
X, as far as you all moved the ball in spurts, but finishing was the issue, and Coach Nehemiah just talked about that. Can you know, that's got to be the focus going forward, right?
Yeah, of course. I think we did a lot of good things today. There were some spurts of some really good things. But at the end of the day, if you can't finish, you can't put the ball in the end zone. That's the name of the game, right? So I think we gotta build off it. I don't think it's something that we gotta hold our heads about, but we gotta figure out what we did and what we can do to finish next time. But we need to keep the momentum of being able to move the ball because we showed that we can do it multiple times today.
Xavier, I wanted to ask specifically about yourself. How did you feel out there? What did you see? You know, like you just said, didn't finish, but at the same time, I'd assume that you felt good about the way you guys moved the ball, at least.
Yeah, of course. It's always a good feeling. I think personally for myself, game slowed down a little bit. I think that's where the experience from last year came into play. But as a unit, I was just really, really proud of the guys on a lot of drives. The way we handled, the way we moved, fought. You know, I handled adversity and just kept driving. You know, 14 plays to march down the field is not easy. It's tiring. It's hard. You get smacked in the head. But you know, we came and bounced back, and that's something to build off of and move into next week.
And either of you guys, I'm just curious, what's the feel in the locker room right now? I know this isn't what you guys are expected, but at the same time, is it you guys kept fighting all the way to the end? There was never kind of a point where you guys kind of just threw your hands up when, you know, that happens sometimes and could have easily happened.
I mean, the feeling is moving on to Air Force. You know, we have another good team coming to our house, and you know, we got to stock when we did good, focus on those things, and build so we can go 1-0 against Air Force.
Xavier, I recall the Army-Navy game. You were on the 1 yard line and struggled to get it in, never made it across the goal line. This time you were, I think, 1 or 2 yards from the goal line, didn't have any trouble punching it in. Finished that one. Was there anything you learned in the Army-Navy game that helped you today in that situation?
This game is a game of inches. One team's got to want it more than the other. That play from the Army-Navy game has sat in my head for an entire year. And every time I enter the weight room, every time I step on the field, that plays in my head. So when I'm lifting weights and, you know, I just need 1 more yard, right? So 1 more yard, and obviously you can't do it by yourself. Our linemen pushed and did what they can to get me into the end zone. At the end of the day, we put 7 points up on the board, so it felt good.
X, I believe today was your first career touchdown in college. Just what was that moment like getting into the end zone?
I mean, of course, it's always a great feeling. Just being able to do whatever you can to help this team win and put points up on the board. And it's just, again, I'll say this again. It's nice to just show the team, you know, that we can move the ball and we can score touchdowns. We just have to do it consistently, and at the end of the day, we have to finish.
Coop, can you just talk about what the message will be from the captains as you know, put this one behind and move ahead to Air Force? What can you kind of, you know, tell the guys?
You know, tomorrow's a work day. You know, all we can do is focus on what you can control and play your game of football. I think a lot of guys get tied up in trying to play a game of football that's not theirs. You know, they get lost in their heads. But if we can play our game of football, if we can just dial it in a little bit more, focus for 5 seconds at a time, you know, bucket your chin strap a little bit harder, we should have no problems moving forward.